Number one, no one cares. When you were a child, you had people more capable than you show you almost infinite love and care. This isn't how the world works for adults. As an adult, no person has the capacity, I'll repeat it again, no person has the capacity to care for you. They simply cannot sacrifice their own health and sanity and read your mind constantly and give you advice and comfort and entertainment. Heck, even the internet at times fails to do it. So no one can care for you except you. You can, in fact, care for yourself. You care for yourself, instinctively at least. And you always care for yourself instinctively. The reason you want others to care for you is because you care for yourself subconsciously. In primitive times, being cared for by an external being could mean the difference between life and death. Same is true now as well. External cares is a source of safety. What this means is that you, as a creature, will always care about your own self. You instinctively want to survive and thrive in a very primitive sense. You want food, you want shelter, you want all of these things which ensure your safety. And you will really work hard to get all of it, even if the time is rough. You can care for yourself. And here I'm saying you can care for this thing that you call your self-image, how you see yourself. Since no one is there to give advice to you and comfort you and make you choose the right things in life, you must do all of it. You need to forgive yourself for all the bad things you did, not someone else. You need to appreciate yourself for all the good things you did, not someone else. You need to choose what to do for a better future and present, not someone else. You need to slap yourself on the cheek sometimes when you are about to slack off and no one else is going to do for you. But are you capable of it? Of containing your urges, of being strong? Well, here's an artistic idea. Pretend you are talking to your future spouse. So, you are here and this is your future spouse. And it just so happens I'm a male, so I'm gonna draw her with a ponytail. I don't know. But yeah, so imagine that you're talking to your future spouse. How are you talking to them? No idea. Maybe they time traveled or something. Whatever. Just imagine that they are in front of you. Now tell them what's on your mind. You tell them all your problems, all the different things that you're facing, what you really want, and why you are unhappy. You tell them what's on your mind. Imagine what they would tell you, right? They would have some sort of response. Maybe it's going to be harsh, maybe it's going to be compassionate, maybe it would feel like pity at times. And you write this down. You write all of it down in a diary or a notebook or whatever. Imagine them as this perfect human being with their flaws and everything, of course. They are human in the end, but they care about you infinitely, right? There's no end to their care. They'll always care about you, whatever you are facing, however you are. And it's just as you want. They care about you infinitely. Just see the difference in how they tell you act versus how you tell yourself to act. Congrats, you did something known as self-love. You loved yourself, right? In the end, the love came from yourself. You loved yourself just in a very indirect sense. You loved yourself using a concept which is in the end created by you, right? Because this person, it did not actually exist. It's just part of your own imagination. And so you were able to care for yourself using a concept created by you. Isn't that amazing? And yes, this takes time and a very active imagination. But if you lack both anyway, you probably also don't want to be cared for that much, right? You're probably busy in your own struggle. Others don't appreciate you. And more importantly, others can't appreciate you. Your self image and the image that others have for you are completely different things. What they like in you are not things that you like in yourself, right? You want to be praised for all those things that you like in yourself, but they may not praise you on that. Even if these images are similar somehow, there will always be roadblocks, there will always be things which differ and things which cause arguments. So no one can appreciate you for all the tiny details you put in your day-to-day life. They hardly remember the topic of your last assignment. How do you expect them to appreciate all these tiny things then? What people do appreciate are your actions, your abilities, what you can do for them, right? They see value in your abilities, not in you as a person. And it may not even be benefiting them. It's just the fact that you have these abilities means that you are somebody who is worth caring for. In primitive times, at least that's how it used to work. But do you really want to be cared for like an employee? Well, maybe you do. And then congrats, you're crazy, but then again, you're also sane enough to utilize your craziness. So then, when family doesn't care about you, when friends don't care about you, they don't appreciate you, they don't appreciate what you're doing, when no one ever appreciates you, where do you turn to? You guessed it, you turn to yourself. And it's kind of obvious. You need to turn to yourself. You need to appreciate yourself and what you do day to day. However stupid your hobbies are, even if they are just like playing video games, you need to appreciate yourself that you are spending the time that you have in your life as you want. You need to really wholeheartedly keep telling yourself that you are doing something that is meaningful, because you in the end do believe that it's meaningful, and that's why you chose to do this thing. And if you don't, well, quit it. So if you're unable to, if you're stuck in a monotonous life or just stuck or feel behind, then you wouldn't want to be appreciated anyway, right? And so it doesn't really matter. You don't want to be appreciated, so why care whether or not people appreciate you? You would want to be given advice and eye openers instead. And in that case, you should probably refer to the last slide, which says that you should care for yourself. So, yeah, talk to your imaginary girlfriend or wife or whatever. And maybe you are a girl, then imaginary boyfriend, or okay, I'm leaving out the trans people, but you know what I'm trying to say. So, you don't need other people's appreciation for you to do what you do. If you don't want to do something, don't. There's no one looking at you. No one cares, right? This thing that no one cares, it could be a tragedy. At the same time, it could also be a path to walk on constantly and embrace. The only reasons you should ever do things when no one cares is, one, you need to, for survival, for thriving, for doing something else that you want to. And second, because you want to do the thing. When I play a video game, I don't play it because I need to, I play it because I want to, even though it might be bad for me. And I'm gonna appreciate myself for doing however I do in that stupid game, because in the end, no one will appreciate me, even if I do something that is huge. They'll appreciate my actions, they'll never appreciate myself. You will never be as good as them. And here, two things to notice: good and them are very subjective things. But I'm pretty sure that you must have faced something like that at some point in your life. And this is my advice. It's plain, it's simple, and unfortunately it's very hurtful, right? It's sometimes a problem that you don't want to face. So if you have had somebody who you wanted to take over in your life, you know what I'm trying to say. You work hard, you put in the hours, you sacrifice your time, energy, money, relationships, everything for the singular reason of being better than someone else. Maybe a sore winner, maybe a popular person, maybe somebody you hate for no particular reason, whatever it may be. But even if you do win, but they did it way before you even started, right? So now what? You can't change the past. You can try to rationalize it. You can sure say that, oh, it wasn't worth winning at that point anyway, or their victory is invalid somehow. But at the end of the day, they won, right? That's the truth, that they won. In that competition you lost. They won. So now what? You don't like it. What can you do about it? You don't like losing at all. But remember, you also don't like falling sick or going through pain or anything from your personal tastes. But when you do fall sick, you just see it as a situation, right? Nothing more. You getting angry and sad over it won't kill the microbes in your body. Just like that, other people being better is just a situation. and you'll have to learn to accept it. And eventually, it will become just an inconvenience, not a character defining trait. Well, here's a fun fact: winning takes lots and lots of practice. Even the sorest of winners, even people who easily get by or make it seem easy, make you feel stupid, they know that they'll lose someday. And they've probably lost way more times than you have even tried. The reason they are sore, the reason they are fishing for compliments all the time, the reason they boast of their success, it's not because they're evil, no. It's because they're underappreciated. Even they know that when they post about something, people don't like them. And everyone wants to be likable, right? Because you care for yourself instinctively and you're a social animal. So you know that your survival, you're thriving. It depends on how other people see you, whether or not they like you. And so it would be very, very contradicting if somebody whose sole aim is to thrive would go around boasting for themselves, right? Because then people won't like them. And they do want people to like them. So why do they do it then? It's because they're underappreciated. A lot of times, in fact, most times, the reason that they're winning is not because they're naturally good at something. It's because of some underlying issue or pain or some circumstance that they've had to deal with, right? Because they faced difficult situations when they lost on an important occasion. Winners aren't made with talent and worthiness and drive, no. They are made with luck, determination, technique, and unfortunately, pain. Lots and lots of pain. So the best way to deal with a sore winner like that, well, give them what they want. Appreciation. Appreciate them. And who knows, maybe you will earn yourself the best mentor you could have in your life. So just to recap, they're not winning because they're better than you, but because they do it more and do it more effectively, and they've gone through more hardships than you. And if they are better than you naturally, then you shouldn't compare yourself with them anyway, right? If they were gifted by some higher being at some particular task, then you're just playing in a system which is rigged against you. So at that point, you just embrace the struggle and you move on, because you literally cannot overtake them, and it's not even a person anymore, it's just a force of nature, right? In those circumstances, you need to tell yourself that you were dealt a very bad hand from your childbirth, right? From the birth, you were never enabled in a particular sense to win, basically, right? Because if, say, you have a bad voice, or you are just naturally not athletic genetically, right? You can't really change it. You just have to deal with it, accept it, right? You just have to say that, oh, I cannot do it because, well, unfortunately, I just cannot, right? Even if I try, I won't be able to do it. And don't say it in a loser's voice. Say it proudly. Say it when you have accepted it as a fact that you won't be able to do it. If your leg gets cut off, you'll have to accept that you won't be able to walk properly anymore. You just have to say that, well, I can't do it because I've lost a leg, right? You can, in fact, control your emotions, right? In the last section itself, you would probably have to control your emotions and not get infuriated and all emotional, just to accept this fact. Because losing is not fun, yeah. And many other things are not fun anyway. So you have to control your emotion at times, otherwise you end up doing destructive things. So, ever been broken up with, lost an opportunity, had bad grades? Any of these things happened to you? I bet you faced the last one at some point, at least. If you are somebody who's in your 20s or just starting your 20s, you probably have. So what do you do when this happens? There are only two ways to deal with it. One, you can either ignore it, or second, you can use it. The first one is more obvious and logical, right? Ignore. You just completely ignore your emotions. Well, yeah, that's not how it's supposed to go. When emotions become a problem, you can in fact just kill the problem itself. But remember, emotions, just like every other instinct, are unavoidable. You can't just kill hunger, right? You have to eat. Similarly, you can't just kill your emotions, you'll have to process it at some point. There will always be side effects of just killing your emotions, of just suppressing it, of just telling yourself that the emotion is invalid. What you can do though is take the emotion, right? So you are having some emotion, take it as an object, process it, right? Accept it, accept the fact that you did feel this emotion and you feel this way. Accept the emotion, look at it carefully, right? Take good notice of it, examine it in every way possible. And then, when you know there's something you still have to do despite this emotion, right? Despite what your instincts are telling you, because in the end, emotions are instincts, right? They are not something that comes from your heart or something that is at the core of yourself. They are just instincts, just as hunger is. Similarly, being sad is an instinct. And people like to romanticize it and say that you should follow your heart. You really shouldn't. It's stupid. Just as you wouldn't follow your stomach, you shouldn't follow your heart, right? So face the fact that you're having this emotion. Look at it calmly, carefully, understand it, analyze it. And then when you know there's something you still have to do despite your instincts, tell yourself that it's just false alarm. That your instincts are trying to fool you, or they're just getting like they're panicking, right? Even though there's nothing to panic, right? That you know better, that you, the intellectual, logical part of you, is in control, that you are choosing to kill this emotion. You're not killing it by running away from it, you're killing it by looking at it carefully, examining it, facing it, and then telling your own self, and I'm saying self over here and not you as an entity, right? I'm saying the concept of you in your head. You're telling that person, no, this emotion, this instinct is just a false alarm. It's not useful. And that way, you have successfully avoided doing something destructive while at the same time also valuing that emotion that you had, because you accepted it, because you know for a fact that you did feel this emotion, right? You didn't just run away from it. No, you killed the emotion consciously, right? Just as you would kill your hunger, like you know it's there, but just trying to avoid it won't really make it any better. Instead, you'll try to embrace the hunger and then tell yourself that despite the hunger, I still have to choose to do the thing that I have to do. So, this is the correct way to ignore your emotions, by facing them, listening to them, and then rejecting the suggested action, right? The second thing you can do once again is accept your emotions, right? First thing that you do is always acceptance. You accept your emotion, and then you can use the emotion. So instead of ignoring, you'll use it, right? You can use the emotion to accomplish a difficult task. And this is incredibly effective in times of need. Let's say you have an assignment due, let's say you're not feeling very well. In circumstances like that, you'll feel pity for yourself, or you'll feel unworthy. What you can do is examine this emotion and tell yourself that I'm feeling unworthy because I'm unable to do anything because of my problems. And then you'll take that emotion and just go through your problems using that emotion. Because you're feeling unworthy, it will be a driving factor in your success, right? And here, you were not controlled by the emotion. Instead, you use the emotion as a weapon to further your success, right? So the second thing once again you can do is accept it and then use it. But never ever let emotions control you, right? You should be the one in control. You should be conscious while you use your emotions. They are in the end, yes, important instincts, but you and your emotions are two different entities, right? Inside of a person's head, there's the instinct part, all the chemicals and different things that help you survive, right? So this person's head, it contains chemicals which are basically emotions, right? And then there's your consciousness, which we don't really understand all that much, but in the end, this is the part that you conceptualize as you, right? So this is what I'm referring to. You and your emotions are very different things. Okay. Your consciousness cares little about the chemicals that your body secretes in response to stimulus and thoughts, just as you should not care for your hunger or for any bodily response, or maybe you're holding your bladder for an hour. You don't really care about all of that, do you? You know that it will pass. Similarly, you shouldn't care all that much about the emotional state that you are in, because you know that it will pass. And it's stupidly easy to change your emotional state. All you need to do is just switch the kind of songs that you're listening to. Go from sad songs to all, glory seeking songs, and suddenly you'll feel a lot better. Just hit the gym, right? Do these sort of things. And this is a very popular advice that people tell everyone, that just hit the gym. The point isn't hitting the gym. The point isn't that physical exercise is going to make you better, but the point is that changing your circumstances, your environment, and focusing on something other than that emotion is going to kill the emotion eventually. And you might say, well, it's like suppressing the emotion. And yes, it's a bit like that. But if you can accept the emotion and then suppress it, then it's going to be a good thing. It won't have any side effects at all. So yeah, when you're feeling sad, just hit the gym, whatever this gym might be for you. It could literally be the gym, or it could be your work or your hobbies or whatever, right? When you're sad, do something, right? And not just particularly about the sadness. Well, if you are going to do something about the sadness, it's a very good thing, right? Because in the end, you are going to attack the root of the whole situation, and then you'll probably uproot it and you won't have to face it again. But if you can't, still do something. Even if it's completely unrelated, do something, because your mind wants to do something, right? Because you want to do something. Your consciousness, it constantly wants to keep doing things. And so if you don't give it anything, it will just pick up whatever most prominent thing you currently have in your body, and that just happens to be your emotions, all the chemicals in your brain, right? If it's not that, it would be something else. Maybe it's like some other bodily response, like hunger, or you holding your bladder, or or maybe it could be anything. Fine, it could just be anything, right? So yeah, this is it. These are all the advices that I wanted to tell. And why am I telling you all of this, right? So here's one important question which I didn't answer, which is why? Why now, right? And the reason is, this is the first time that I've really realized that these are truths, that these aren't just things in my head, but they actually have a lot of solid evidence that these things are really there, that you'll just have to accept it sooner or later, right? All the delusion that society tries to put on you, that oh, you should care for people and people should care for you, and it's all romantic and touchy and lovey-dovey, none of that's true. Because what they are trying to tell you through films and media and all of these things are wishful thinking. These are dreams, these are imaginary things. None of that is actually true. You might have a crush on someone, and then you might dream of you two people getting together and doing amazing things and having a fantastic life. But in the end, it's just a dream, it's just an imagination. And sure, you can act on your dreams and you can try to make those dreams come true, but they are just that, dreams. What might happen in reality would be completely different, right? In reality, that person might hate you for you acting on your dream, or that person might be annoyed or something like that. Or let's say you want to get very successful. It's a very good dream to have, but then in reality you might never actually have the circumstances necessary for that kind of success. If you want to be a very good singer, but you have a sore throat all the time genetically, you just aren't going to be able to practice, right? Let's just deal with it. You won't be able to get what you want just like that, right? And that's part of what makes everything so unfair to people, right? It feels unfair because life is chaotic and you don't get what you want. But you're not a child, right? Children, when they don't get what they want, throw tantrums and then just ask for the thing, and the parent has to give it to them. But we are adults, or at least I would like to pretend that we are adults. And the adult thing would be to just accept the fact that we are not getting what we want, and if possible, try to change the fact somehow. Try to still get it, but not let it bother you, not let it be the end of the world for you. Don't throw tantrums because you didn't get what you want. Instead, do proper actions, right? Do something about it, or just shut up. To put it in the harsh manner, that's just what you'll have to do. And when you'll shut up, not only will you yourself feel better and more responsible and more accountable, but everyone else will start liking you somehow. So yeah, just do that. Either do something about it, or just don't talk about it all that much, because the more you'll talk about it, the worse it will become, the more of a problem it will become, right? And then you'll feel deprived and alone, and as if your struggle is meaningless. And all of these things, they can lead to some very horrible thinking patterns. And trust me, I know what kind of thinking patterns it can lead to. All right, so this is it, I think. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.